I would like to show you an extremely ominous video, and I believe you will walk away with that same feeling after watching it, of new Prime Minister Liz Truss responding to a question about how she would feel about ushering in global catastrophe.
Now, look, here's another question. One of the first things, and very briefly if I could, one of the first things that will happen when and if you become Prime Minister, you'll be ushered into a room, very privately at number 10. Will be laid out in front of you what are called the letters of last resort, your orders to our Trident boat captain on whether you, Prime Minister Liz Truss, is giving the order to unleash our nuclear weapons. It would mean global annihilation. I won't ask you, would you press the button? You will say yes. But faced with that task, I would feel physically sick. How does that thought make you feel?
I think it's an important duty of the Prime Minister. I'm ready to do that.
I asked how it would make you feel.
I'm ready to do it.
Okay, that's your answer. Liz Truss, thank you for those answers. Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Truss. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Take care.
Wow. That is her response when asked about unleashing global nuclear annihilation. Let me just paint the picture for you in case you couldn't grasp what was going on in that video, though I don't see how anyone couldn't, because it was so extremely blatant and in your face. I don't see what else you would take away from that video except for the fact that Miss Liz Truss is ready to destroy the world, and all of us included. So she was asked there by the interviewer, and let's just start with his preface here. So he says, I'm not going to ask you if you do it, i.e. destroy the planet, because I know you would. Of course, you destroy the planet, I destroy the planet, we'd all fucking do it. Of course, no we wouldn't. He says, I'm not going to ask you if you do it because I know you say yes, but how would you feel? I know you light the world on fire because of some bullshit, but how would you feel about doing it? How would you feel about destroying everything and life as we know it? You know, your kids, your grandchildren, nobody else can live here because of war, because of imperialism. How would you feel about pressing that big red button? Because I know you do it. And he asked her such a ridiculous question, and then she responds not by answering the question as if that would have been better by telling him how she felt. She just said, I'm ready to do it. Not that she will do it, or, I mean, that might even be worse, but saying I'm ready, meaning she's prime. She's ready to basically end humanity. She and the people in Washington and all the other leaders in Europe that stand behind Ukraine and Mr. Zelensky over there as they try to hold down the fort extremely full-heartedly against the Russian military. All of these people are of the same thinking, and they're ready to take every single one of us down with them. This is the new Prime Minister of the UK. And I mean, what else would you expect? What an amazing video that was. Asked if or how she would feel about doing it, because notice how it's already a given. Notice, no talk of peace, of de-escalation, of how to deal with foreign policy. Not that these people even really understand foreign policy, but none of that even entered the conversation. It's just, hey, you're going to be put to the task, and they're going to show you these very, very big secretive things, and you're going to be, I can't remember how he exactly phrased it, but he said essentially you're going to be tasked with the duty of pressing that big red button and ushering in nuclear annihilation. Now, how would you feel about that? Well, it seems like she'd be very happy and extremely jovial to do so, and that's very sad. And the same can be said of many other world leaders. And the funny thing is that these people, Liz Truss, Joe Biden, Boris Johnson when he had his day, you know, the leaders over in Germany, Macron, all these other people, the people in Canada, all of them would have you believe that they're these huge champions and beacons of freedom and democracy and hope and peace. Peace. Here we go now. You know, all these different governments that have just, I mean, decimated populations around the world. I mean, genocidal type things they've engaged in would have you believe they actually give a you know what about peace, and they talk like this, and they get applauded by these audiences. The audience applauded her for saying this nonsense. Yes, I'm willing to destroy every single one of you, including myself, and she gets claps for it. I mean, it feels like we're not even living in reality anymore. This is absolutely incredible. And this is the woman that has to, or the woman that's ready to blow up Europe is the one that is in charge now in the UK, having to deal with, partly to deal with the energy crisis that Europe is facing. Needless to say, she won't rise to the occasion. And the people in Europe, and I don't say this happily, I mean, it's extremely sad and unfortunate. I wouldn't want to go through what they're going through currently, even though me and of course many of you are dealing with our own set of problems because we're suffering as well due to the sanction program, of course many other things, our state policies, government policies, etc. But this sanction program that they've carried out, Europe and the United States hand in hand against the Russian regime for the military operation, is exacerbating the inflation and is a big cause of the energy crisis, really the main cause of the energy crisis that Europe is currently facing. This woman isn't going to rise to the occasion in helping the European people get through this extremely cold winter that they're set to have. And it is indeed going to be a cold winter, throwing out recommendations like taking shorter showers, turning down the thermostat, and all this other nonsense, which is extremely ridiculous and just, it's clownish. It's clownish behavior, really. But I want to read to you, to end this, a title of an article from the Wall Street Journal. And the journal says, Liz Truss may be just the prime minister America needs. And when the Wall Street Journal is putting out titles like that for leaders of other countries, well, that should tell you all you need to know, that this woman is no ally of the people, no ally of mine, no ally of yours, because she would quite literally, and it came out of her mouth, usher in nuclear annihilation, killing every single one of us on the planet. Needless to say, the State Department is extremely happy to see her in power.